Hey guys, I'm Rich. Welcome to Rich with Cars. On this week's video, I'm going to be doing the flagship sedan from Mercedes Benz. I got the S580 4MATIC right behind me. This thing is out of this world. To be honest with you, it's my first time getting into an S-Class of this generation, and with a short time that I've actually spent with it on the interior and even like just driving it around a little bit, I'm just blown away, to be honest with you guys. This thing's infotainment system, which is the MBUX, I don't think there's anything out there that compares to it. And then in terms of luxury, it's right up there with like the top luxury brands, in my opinion, like Aston Martin, Bentley, Rolls-Royce. Probably not as much, but it's really like it's scratching up there with those big boys. The other thing also that really impressed me is the level of comfort, the layout, everything that has to do with this S-Class is unbelievable. Guys, let's not forget the S-Class is the flagship from Mercedes Benz, so it's gonna have tremendous amounts of technology and comfort. But as always, I'm gonna be doing the exterior, the interior, the trunk, the engine, and of course the driving impression. So guys, as always, let's strap in and take a look. So the exterior design of the current generation Mercedes S-Class was first introduced in 2020. This is what they internally call the W223, and it replaces the previous generation, which was called internally the W222. Completely facelifted. They did the entire front grille, as you guys can see. But one thing that I'm not a big fan of when it comes to the front grille is what they did all over here. They could have done, I think, a bit better job in terms of integrating the front radar system in there. Here we have the 3-star on the hood. These headlights are also part of the new design that came out in 2020. And you have quite a bit of technology in them that aids in terms of lighting certain parts of the road ahead of you. This particular example has the AMG package, so you guys can see that it's got sort of like a design cue that is similar to an AMG Mercedes, like the S63, but it doesn't actually have the openings down there. This one comes with 21-inch wheels, multi-spoke. Not a big fan of them myself. I think Mercedes-Benz does a better job in terms of certain designs, but I think it works well with this luxury flagship sedan. As you look further behind, you get to see those pop-out handles. That's something else that was new as part of this new generation S-Class, is these door handles that basically become flush with the body as well. When they do come out, you get to see the Mercedes-Benz script right on the door handle. These taillights now are very similar to what you see on other Mercedes-Benz models. You have the AMG package, which adds that lower diffuser at the rear that gives it a slightly more sporty look. You also get this body-colored trunk lip spoiler that is a little bit more subdued. Wanted to show you guys something else in regards to the exterior as well. I wanted to show you guys a little bit about the rear wheel steer on the Mercedes S-Class and how apparent it is when you turn the steering wheel. So let's take a look at this. Look at that. If I turn the other side, that is absolutely nuts. And what that allows you to do is have a shorter turning radius. Of course, a lot of other cars have this as well, but I think Mercedes-Benz took it to another degree. If I'm not wrong, the S-Class can take it up to 10 degrees rotation in the rear wheels. Little cool thing on the Mercedes S-Class. So that's your key. This particular key has a cover on it, so it doesn't actually show you the exact look of the Mercedes-Benz S-Class key, but it gives you sort of the overall shape. It does have the lock button, unlock button, and of course the trunk release. I don't know if I'd probably use this key myself. It's a little bit too flashy, but to each their own. When you do unlock the doors, the door handles pop out. So let's take a look inside. Taking a look inside of the Mercedes-Benz S580 4MATIC. First thing that you're greeted by is this door sill that is actually laid up And you can see right here, Mercedes Benz, very, very classy. Then we take a look at the door cards. You have some leather all the way up top and leather all the way to the bottom. This is actually covered in leather. You have leather over here, and you have a diamond stitch on the door card here on the side. This is a little bit more padded. The seat controls don't physically move. It's basically touch. So when you just touch it, I'm not moving this thing. But when I touch it forward, the seat back moves forward. Or when I touch it backwards, it goes back. So it's kind of like a haptic feedback type of thing, but it took me a little bit of time to realize what was going on. Of course, you have your window controls in aluminum, and then you have your seat heat, cooling seats, and then that's a pretty cool feature that allows you to control the passenger side seats. In this particular model, you have the Burmeister sound system, trunk release, and then the seats themselves, super comfortable. And also like the design on the quilted seats themselves. Not extremely bolstered. You have some bolstering, but this is not a performance vehicle. This is supposed to be a luxury vehicle, so it's not gonna be, tight around you. It's actually supposed to be comfortable for long drives. All right, guys, so we're inside of the Mercedes S580 4MATIC. You're actually greeted by some really nice laid out materials, controls, and you have a very nice steering wheel here as well. This is part of the new MBUX system, this iPad style infotainment screen that is absolutely massive. And then you also have this huge gauge cluster that is also a screen. This particular model has a 3D gauge cluster, so it actually allows you to see any of the information in 3 dimensions. So it can't really show you through the camera itself, but I can tell you that in person, it's just mind-blowing. And keep in mind, I own a Genesis GV80 that has a 3D gauge cluster as well. It doesn't even compare to what this is. Let's get her started up. MBUX is probably the best infotainment system out there right now, at least based on what I've experienced so far. You also have this middle console that gives you quite a bit of space for cup holders. You have your wireless phone charge over there, additional space over here as well. You have a middle compartment that is quite deep, allows you to put quite a few items in there. A couple of USB-C inputs that are lit up, so you can actually see them in the dark or at night. And you have another 2 USB-C inputs over there as well, right in the console area. Getting into the gauge cluster right here, you have so many different options. So for example, you can control from the steering wheel on the left side of the steering wheel right here. If I go ahead and press home, it allows me to switch the look of the gauge. And I mean, at the end of the day, there's no other that changes it that dramatically between the different settings. So you have understated, which provides very limited information if you want to keep it nice and simple. You have Sport, which gives you this sort of very funky design. And even when you're revving, do you see how it moves up? So it's not your typical RPMs. Then you also have Exclusive, which gives you sort of this white background. You have your Classic that gives you your tachometer and speedometer. And the cool thing also about Exclusive is that you can also change the different displays in the middle, including a map as well. I think I'd probably keep it at a Classic. Then we have full navigation over here, which gives you a full map view on the screen or the gauge cluster with some of your other information like fuel, time, and then you have other displays over there at the bottom as well. Then you have assistance, which is based on driver assistance and gives you all types of information regarding the driver's assistance, even GPS. And then finally, you have service. And it tells you anything that the car requires for service or any other types of notifications. You have this huge infotainment screen in the middle, which is all touch. You have your AC controls that are at the bottom. It would have been nice to have some more physical buttons, but at least they keep the AC or the HVAC controls permanently there. The other thing also that I wanted to show you is the camera system. You have a full 360-degree camera, which is very, very smooth when you're actually going around. You have different angles as well that you can go on to avoid curbing any wheels or getting too close to anything. So you can see the different views. That right here is a touch for your fingerprint. So you can actually set the vehicle to your liking and then save it based on your fingerprint. So if you put it here, you guys can see, you have to activate the Mercedes Me. That is a heads-up display, because the heads-up display also has augmented reality that displays straight on your windshield, which is super, super cool as well. So you guys see me right now in the back seat, super comfortable. We do have some seat controls over here, and the cool thing is that it allows you to, you have all these seat controls as if like you're sitting in the front. Let me show you guys here a little bit. You have a vent over here. You have vents over there as well, with control on the vents. You have a little cubby hole down there, some USB-C inputs, and then you have controls for all your sunshades. So this is your shade here for the window. That's for your rear shade. That's for the right window, and that's for the left window as well. So you have really nice ambient lighting around this control area, which includes your heated seats, cooled seats, and then also allows you to bring up the seat in the front. A middle compartment over here with some space and additional space over here. And once again, you have more USB-C inputs over there. That's a little area to put, I believe it's your phone if you'd like to. You can put your phone because that's rubberized. If you're considering an S-Class and you want to be driven around, nothing better than this. So let's take a quick look at the trunk space or trunk area for the S580. You guys can see that this one came specifically with AMG mats because it was part of that AMG package that I was telling you guys about. It's got quite a bit of space on the interior, and I'll show you guys what the volume is for the rear trunk area of the S580. A lot of space in here and functionality as well, because you do have some hooks, tie down hooks over here. You have a net over there as well with some Velcro. Over here to hold some things down. So yeah, I mean, generally speaking, the trunk area of the S580 is quite good. And then of course, you can always close it automatically with a key. So the Mercedes Benz S580 4MATIC has a 4-liter V8 bi-turbo engine with a mild hybrid drive as well. Horsepower is rated at 496 horsepower and 516 pounds per foot of torque. Yeah, it's not a full-blown AMG, but trust me, this is plenty powerful for this vehicle, especially with a mild hybrid drive as well. It definitely helps in terms of filling those gaps and keeping things quite efficient at the same time. This does come with a 9G Tronic 9-speed automatic transmission, and that's also to keep things very smooth and efficient at the same time. This is the biggest engine you can get before getting into the AMG S63, which is an absolute beast. Driving the 2022 Mercedes Benz S580 4MATIC. So far, it's a super comfortable drive, very assisted steering. I wouldn't say it's super communicative, but I can tell you one thing, that the engine on this 4-liter bi-turbo V8 is very effortless, to say the least. It doesn't sound like a V8. Of course, they kept this more as a luxury flagship sedan, so they wanted to keep it very serene inside. So you don't get to hear much of an exhaust note while you're driving or accelerating. But aside from that, there's so much driver assistance in this vehicle, it's mind-blowing. The other thing also is, while I'm driving, could be a little bit confusing if you're not used to it. The 3D gauge cluster can be a little bit confusing because it does take a little bit of time for your eyes to get accustomed to that. The heads-up display is super, super nice. It's probably the nicest heads-up display that I've experienced so far. I don't have the augmented reality GPS turned on right now, but at least on the regular sort of information and speed that it actually shows on the on the heads up, it's like right there in your field of vision. It's super clear. As I try to accelerate and, you know, overtake a few cars, like I said, this V8 is quite effortless. Oh my God, the steering is so soft. You can just steer with one finger and that's it. I do have some guidance right here on the heads-up display. It shows me exactly what I need to take, so it's very helpful in the sense that it doesn't require me to look down on the screen over here, or it doesn't require me to look, let's say, on my gauge cluster, because even on the gauge cluster, I do have the GPS. The suspension is just absolutely amazing. You do not feel a single thing on the road. This does have the air suspension. It soaks up bumps like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, augmented reality on this is super cool. And for somebody who might be clueless in terms of how to get around, this will just literally grab you by the hand and tell you exactly where to go if you don't even know how to read the GPS on your screen. And the beauty of it is that you don't even need to take your eyes off of the road. It's amazing. And that's my dash over there. You guys can see it also, it shows there. Okay, now I'm moving forward because it just turned green. Now, do you see how the arrows are getting closer and closer and closer? Yeah, and they got bigger. Yeah, super cool. And then the arrow just disappears. You even have augmented reality right on your navigation screen. The brake feel on this is actually very progressive. I had to do almost emergency braking, and I'm in the rain. You know, and I didn't have to get used to the brake feel of the pedal over here. It's actually very progressive and a nice feeling. And they actually are quite responsive as well. So pretty solid brakes on this as well. So far, great suspension, not very communicative steering, but it's a luxury sedan at the end of the day. Very responsive engine, and it's actually quite powerful, very torquey as well. And the brakes are quite good as well. So you guys will see now do you see how the arrow just turned on and it's telling me to turn? See it, and now it's just telling me to turn. Do you see that?
Now turn right onto.
And you can also see it on the screen over here in augmented reality. It's telling me where to turn. And it tells me Vineland Road. It's so cool, man, this thing. And then the arrow just disappears. For a luxury sedan, and you know, for comfort, long distance drives, if you want to be in a calm, serene environment, you honestly cannot beat the Mercedes S-Class. The negative, yeah, it depreciates quite a bit if you're gonna get it new, but in this particular case, if you're looking at this particular vehicle, like I said before, Aston Martin of Orlando does have it for sale. You're gonna be saving a tremendous amount of money. The other thing also about having a Mercedes S-Class with all this tech is the probability of having more things that can go wrong. This Mercedes Benz S-Class, it's not an exciting vehicle. It's just absolutely stunning when it comes to luxury, technology, and comfort. So I hope you guys enjoyed this overview of the 2022 Mercedes Benz S580 4MATIC. Mercedes has always been at the top of flagship sedans, and when it comes to technology, they've been always leaders, and it shows, especially with this S-Class, with their MBUX system and all the technology it has with the augmented reality heads-up display and the 3D gauge cluster. So ultimately, I mean, I was extremely impressed by this Mercedes-Benz. Unfortunately, they do depreciate quite a bit, and thanks for staying till the end, because this is what I wanted to tell you guys. Given the fact that this car has an MSRP of $137,000 all optioned out, Aston Martin actually has this right now for sale in the mid-80s. I highly recommend that if you're interested in this, given the fact that it's a low mileage example with all these options, take a look. I'll include the link in the description below for you guys to check it out. I want to give a huge thanks to Aston Martin once again of Orlando. Make sure to check them out. And as always, guys, thank you very much for all the views, all the likes. Make sure to share this with anybody who might be interested in an S580. And I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, guys, thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.